Hi all, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, my name is Rachel Byers and I post art content. I post sketchbook tours, brand comparisons, tutorials, you name it. I'm a huge lover of art. Today I will be doing a sketchbook tour. Still feels like I'm showing you guys my diary, but nonetheless, I will be showing you this sketchbook tour. There are some drawings in it that I absolutely love, others that I'm not as big of a fan of, but hey, that's why I have Don't Be Afraid to Fail along the binding of my sketchbooks, because failing is your first attempt in learning. I'm going to change camera view to down and we will get right into it. All right, and here is my sketchbook. This is the Strathmore 500 series. I really love this sketchbook. I have tried a bunch of different sketchbooks, but I feel like the amount of pages that this has makes it easier to be able to commit to a sketchbook without feeling like overwhelmed on how many pages are left. I like taking the front of this and adding some stickers to it. I actually did get in the habit of listing out who I bought those stickers from. So these are all people on Etsy. I haven't linked anything, but I'm sure I could link the actual stickers out there. Not sponsored, all things that I bought myself. I just think that they're great stickers. I mean, look at the larva lamp. And then the stay positive, I feel like that's pretty true. I'm obsessed with this holographic crow. I don't feel like the video fully gives it detail or gives it justice for what it truly is. And then, oh my gosh, look at that manatee and then this Spam can. Yeah, I mean, just look at that Spam can. That is pretty fabulous. I also really love like the porcelain bug. And then if you're a bird, I'm a bird. All right, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So I always like to try and start out the first page of my sketchbook fun in some way or shape or form. Generally, I try to list out goals, but this time I just wanted to hop straight into the sketchbook and start having fun. So this was all done in acrylic paint markers. So I believe these were all done with the Arrtx acrylic paint markers. I think it's a fun way to be able to add color into your sketchbook and really be able to lay it down quickly without having to build it up. And then on this page, this is just some portraits that I did with a fine liner and a brush pen. I really do love doing portraits, and I hate this face. I just want to cover it up. It was a bit discouraging when I had started with that and it went too dark too quick. And when you're working with pen, there's not really a way to undo it. So not my favorite, but I really like how the other two turned out. I mean, sometimes you just got to mess around and figure out what works best. And I will definitely remember in the future to not work too dark. It is what it is. So, oh my gosh. Quick backstory. I have a group of friends. We were all talking about taking the turtles and changing their names and me doing drawings based off of that. So here we have Donatello. So Donatello as a cello, Donatello playing a cello, and then just Donatello. Because, I mean, why not, right? This was done using alcohol markers, and then I want to say that it was my Faber-Castell Polychromos that I used for the shading portions. Yeah, Oh, Donatello. There will be other sweet turtles in this sketchbook as well because, yeah, they were a ton of fun to draw and it instantly puts a smile on my face whenever I see that page. And then here I was using the one of the fine liners again and just kind of playing around with different hatch marks and putting some flowers on the page. I feel like that'd be like a really pretty fabric print. And I can see like the outline, and I know that there's another turtle in this next page, and he's probably one of my favorites. It's actually the one that started me doing all the turtles in different styles. Graphite. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is also done in alcohol markers and my Faber-Castell Polychromos, and look at that. He is so awesome. Yeah, Raphael, because why not? A giraffe dressed as Raphael wearing a turtle shell. Yeah, that is fantastic. And then here I was color swatching out some new colored pencils. I really wanted to get these, I think they're the Holbein pastel color pencils, but the set is so expensive and I couldn't justify it, even though I really, really wanted to try it. So I found this set on Amazon and wanted to color swatch it out. And so far I've been pretty happy. It's actually these ones right here. So yeah, they work, and they were a fraction of the price because I can't necessarily justify spending $200 on color pencils. Anyway, I digress. Mars Attacks. I hope you have seen this movie. It is a really good movie, and my kids were stuck on it for quite a while. So one night while we were watching, I decided to draw one of the aliens blowing up the pigeon and then some alien spaceships taking off. So Mars Attacks. I love the way this looks. And this was also done in alcohol markers with colored pencils. And then I used some of the acrylic paint markers in order to be able to really have the Mars Attacks stuff pop. All in all, super successful drawing in my opinion, and probably too nice to be in a sketchbook, but I mean, it's my sketchbook, so whatever, I suppose. Oh, and then I had gotten these, new to these Caran D'ache water-soluble, I want to say wax pastels. Well, that is what they are, but just kind of playing around with them. Put some color down, so colored it in, and then used one of the water pens to be able to kind of mesh that. Not anything super fancy, but I was just kind of playing around with the material, and that's what your sketchbook should be for, is figuring it all out. And I'm a sucker for florals. If you hadn't already got by the overalls I'm wearing in this video, florals are and will always be something I love. Oh, and then this page is kind of empty. I had a couple friends that were like, why didn't you put stuff in the rest of the page? I had started this ballpoint pen portrait, and I don't know, kind of just got over it and didn't feel like finishing it out, and then adding anything else to the rest of the page without finishing her face seemed ridiculous, so instead I just left the rest of the page blank, which some may feel is wasteful, but it is my sketchbook. Oh yeah, I feel like this would make a really cool wallpaper or like phone background. But it goes back to using those water-soluble wax pastels and just adding in color. And then I think in a few of the sections, I had actually gone in with the acrylic paint markers and added in some like finer details. But yeah, I like it. It's super bright and fun, and I don't know. Yeah, Ooh, I love doing stuff like this. So this is using just like a fine liner, and I literally started in this corner and then just worked throughout the page. I oftentimes, when I can't figure out what I want to draw, I will look back through old sketchbooks and see what I'd drawn before, and sometimes I'll end up drawing something really similar, and other times I revamp it and I do it a different way. And it's a fun way to be able to be creative, but without having to actually make the different decisions. So this drawing I had actually done in my all black and white sketchbook, which I can post a link. I'll try and like have it up here somewhere in case you guys want to see that. It was for Inktober 2 years ago, but I'd done something similar for one of the drawing prompts that I had, and yeah, I just thought it was fun and just an easy way to be able to sketch out. I was so bummed about that, but it's not like this is a masterpiece. It is a sketchbook still. Just keep my thumb over it and then I won't see it. Oh, I forgot this was in here. I had bought some art dice. Hold on, let me grab them. And if I sound out of breath, it's just because I ran across my house. Okay, these art dice. Not sponsored, not affiliated, nothing like that. I mean, I'm not sponsored by anyone, so I guess there's that. But these art dice, I found them on Amazon. And so you have the medium, style, setting, color, texture, mood, and then there's multiple subjects. And just, they are so fun. With how crazy busy life has been, coming up with what I want to draw is not always the easiest. And so I loved that I could roll some dice and it would give me a couple prompts. And so that is actually how this drawing came about. So my prompts were joy, landscape, and seashells. So I have a beautiful lady shell laying out and sunning herself. And then another seashell staring out at the ocean. I hope you guys can see this. It's hard to tell on the camera if that's actually viewable. Staring out at the ocean with his cute little butt cheeks. I thought it was funny. It was the first thing that came to mind. Because why not? Maybe I took it too funny, and I think that's the fun thing. It would be fun to grab a bunch of people, do the art dice, and see what everybody comes up with, because we all think differently. Oh, and I did another one. Okay, we're here are the prompts. So I had so much fun with that drawing. I wanted to do this one as well. And so here are my prompts: sorrow, flowers, cityscape. Now, don't mind all the extra notes, but I did a portrait of a girl crying, and then you have your cityscape, and then flowers growing up from the bottom. And then I had thought about like painting this out. So it had researched like sad flowers. So I had the different notes in there, and then was thinking about like different colors I would want to have, because, you know, I'd want this to be dark blue to really evoke the sorrow, and then having it paired with like a mustard yellow and a bright pink. Yeah. Fun little sketch, and it was just nice to use art prompts to kind of get me out of my art block. All in all, nice sketchbook page. Oh, the best part about finishing a sketchbook and then waiting a bit to do these videos is that I sometimes forget what's in here. This was obviously worked on during Christmas or around the December timeframe. We have a leg lamp, always end up watching A Christmas Story. Well, I decided to take the leg lamp and put different shoes on it. So you got the standard leg lamp with the heel. You got a platform heel. You got a Chuck Taylor, which is probably one of my favorite shoes. I mean, literally. And you have a cowboy boot. And then there is a flip-flop. And a Croc with socks, because that just seemed super stylish. And then I have like a crazy running shoe where it has like the huge pillow bottom. A flipper, which I know is not technically a shoe, but you put it on your feet, so that works. And then a rollerblade. And I am actually in my sketchbook I'm working on now, taking these and adding color. I thought about adding it to this page, but I kind of like just having those rough sketches in there. And I mean, come on, how fun is that? All right, and then I had gotten some hemi gouache, and so was just color splotching those out. My hand ran through the lettering, so we got the smudges all over, which, not that I'm a perfectionist, but it drives me batty. So yeah. And then I was just playing with that hemi gouache and putting some flowers in no particular order, or trying and just kind of seeing how I liked it laying out, and the colors as is next to one another. Oh, my floral fish. I love floral. I don't know if you remember that. So I took some fish and I added flowers. Because why not, right? This is done using alcohol markers and then my Faber-Castell Polychromos, as well as some gel pens. So like these gel pens, the Pilot Juices. I know that's technically a stationary supply, but I love how tiny it is. It is a 0.38. And then you can get these in like a million different colors. They're fun for doing portraits or just sketching in your sketchbook. I mean, you could take just these two items with you somewhere and sketch, and then later you could add color to it, paint over top of it. These do bleed through the paint and through markers. Beware of that. I tend to, if I know I'm gonna color it, I will save this step to the last. But just used a pen to be able to kind of more define the edges and outline them. But I love the floral fish. I actually plan to make these into stickers, because I would love to have like that right here. That would be awesome. All in the works, and I'm planning to have it as a holographic. I don't know, you guys will have to let me know what one you think, or if I should do all four, or if I should offer them as a package. We shall see. Oh, all right. Ballpoint pen. Still one of my favorite supplies, like the Bic 2-cent ones. And then I love crows. And so I drew some crows. I love how this one turned out. Love the way that you can see the fine feathers. And I like that, you know, there's these other three flying. I'm not as big of a fan of how this turned out. Like, I love basically love everything except for the head. The head for me just feels off. But I don't draw a lot of birds, so kind of out of practice on that. But either way, still a good page. And then more bugs. I love bugs. If you've watched me for a while, you know that all my sketchbooks have bugs. And so I took this dragonfly and added in some beautiful floral wings. And this was done with alcohol markers. And then I had gone back in with the pens and being like outlined each of the flowers and outlined some of the details that I liked. But I also think that would make a fun sticker. And then I had splotched out what those colors were because I would like to do more bugs in those colors. And so just wanted to have those marked down for my Ohuhu markers so it's easy to find. And then in each sketchbook, I try and push myself by using multiple supplies. So I looked through my sketchbook and realized I didn't really have anything in just graphite. So did a couple portraits in graphite, and one for which I shaded and the other one just kind of drew out. And then I liked the difference between having a fully drawn out one and then like a fully shaded in. I left all my marks, and I definitely like this face more so than I like this face. I'm a bit out of practice when it comes to shading with graphite, just not something that I've done a whole lot here recently. And so I feel like this is a little bit too much of the same tone. So there, you don't see the curves in the cheekbones and the light underneath, or the light like brightly touching upon that upper brow bone. So it could be better, but it's not like some big finished piece. So it's good enough for a sketchbook. And then I love doing like Zentangle mandala type stuff. It's an easy way to be able to add something into my sketchbook without it being something I have to think about too much. I normally just start. So here I would have started, I think I drew out a circle and then drew out another circle, started on this one, finished this, and then felt like this was a bit top heavy. And so added this one in just to kind of pull the eye down the page a bit more, but using those same gel pens. I told you that there were multiple turtles in this sketchbook, and I am pleased to announce Michelangelo. Oh, he looks so good. And he's wearing a pepperoni cycling jersey on an orange bike. I mean, it's fabulous. I love it so much. This is done using alcohol markers, some of those Faber-Castell polychromos, and then some acrylic paint markers just to add some lighter touches. I do see that there's also like white gel pen for adding the really bright brights, but isn't he awesome? Oh, he's fantastic. An instant smile. Oh, goodness. And then after doing that page, now this is one thing for this sketchbook. It does ghost through on the back of the page quite a bit for when you're using alcohol markers. So you can see that quite a bit of that color came through. I just normally put either a piece of paper behind this, or I will put a one of the little sheets that my Ohuhu markers comes with to make sure that it doesn't bleed onto the next page. Onto this page, this is just done using a fine liner pen, and it was just a random set of drawings. Oh my gosh, a Chuck Taylor. I can't believe it. And then some Milfin cookies. And yeah, nothing fancy, just fun little doodles all on a page that have no reference to one another. I love it. I said that I wanted to draw a fruit fly, and so I started drawing a fly, and then I was like, ooh, I should add some bananas because he's a fruit fly. And then I did a bunch of bugs because I love bugs. So we got a fruit fly, some type of beetle, he's a blueberry, and then we have strawberries. What an awesome page. I love it. This gets me like excited to see sketches like this in my sketchbook. And then I think these would also make like fun little stickers. They're random and bright and different, and who would have thought that a fruit fly would have bananas? That's bananas. And then I had bought a bunch of these Arrtx acrylic paint pens, and I ended up buying 2 different packs, not really thinking through how many would be like duplicates. So you see like 17, 17, 18, 18. There are quite a bit of duplicates between the 2 colors for the 60 color pack. that doesn't bother me from the aspect that I do or have been using them quite a bit. And then I also use those when I'm painting shoes, etc. So kind of nice to see what colors are the same on between the two different sets. So there is quite a bit of crossover, but either way, they're a fun product to have just from being able to build it up, you know, starting with an alcohol marker, adding in some colored pencil, and then being able to go back in and add some different details. Having an abundance of art supplies and different things to try out is always fun. And then I just put a bunch of random stuff on a page. I was having fun with, after color splotching out those acrylic paint pens, and so did a gummy bear. And then I drew my phone. You do look good. You look so good. And then a ring pop, because why not? And then I have a vase in my house that has some like little orchids in it. So I decided to do that, and sunflowers make me happy. So this is with that's the paint pens. This is also the paint pens, as is this, and then it's all lined with that same style ballpoint pen. Fun. A bunch of random stuff together on a page, using the whole page, but having nothing to do with one another other than my brain told me to draw the next thing. All right, so you had Michelangelo. Now let's meet Michelangelo. Oh, goodness gracious, he looks so cool on his ape-hangered motorcycle, just chilling. Although he must have great balance because I don't see a foot down. And obviously he's not riding down the road with his hands not there. So even though based on his ties, it would lead you to believe that he is in fact having air movement. But this is done in alcohol markers with color pencils, and then going back in with a gel pen just to add in some sweet tattoos. I love his little gloves. I don't know how I feel about the jean shorts. Jeans probably would have been more accurate, but I kind of like the vibe of the jeans shorts. He's just such a rebel that he doesn't need pants on while he's riding down the road. Oh, he's fabulous. And then I was messing around with a bit of typography, just playing around with letters in different styles. Nothing fancy. Combining letters together in like a monogram form. And then I did some more just pen drawings. So got some bananas, got my Lincoln wine bar hat, those same flowers again that I'd had on the previous page. This is a little air plant I have in my office, and it literally looks like that. Yeah, just some random drawings, just kind of playing around, and then having the paper airplanes and a cute little bee flying around the page. Well, so far you've seen Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, Michelangelo. How do you feel about April O'Seal? April O'Seal, funny. Execution of this page, not my favorite. I definitely want to redo this. I was really struggling. So I like the April O'Seal up here, holding her channel 6 microphone. In the yellow jumper, but the bottom one is not my favorite. I really struggled. I wanted to change the seal's skin tone from the top just to do something a bit different, and I think it got a bit muddy, but it was fun. It still makes me laugh. Done using alcohol markers, some acrylic paint pens, and then color pencils, except this time I had used that set of pastel. Oh, fruit. Fruit is just fun. Fruit and veggies, I guess. And this was done using the alcohol markers. And by alcohol markers, I mean the acrylic paint pens. I don't think I used alcohol markers anywhere. No, that is all the acrylic paint pens. And then just kind of going in and adding a little bit of detail. Looks like on this one I had added some color pencil, just because the color variants for the alcohol, and I'm going to continue messing that up. And I'm leaving this all in here because this is me. The acrylic paint pens, you have a lot of variety, but there's not like a huge amount, and I didn't want it to become too muddy, but to be able to create that greater shading, I went back in with some colored pencils and just tried to darken it up a bit. All right, and this is the final page. So I thought I would do some fun drawings of some eyes, and I really love how they both turned out. This was done using the alcohol markers, colored pencils, and then going back in with a white gel pen to be able to add those really, really bright lights. And I think they're super successful. I almost added a third, and I'm sure you're wondering why there's this big open space. It's because I was so happy with how these first two turned out that I didn't want it to be like, you know, that first page where I really liked two and I didn't like the other. So I just left it. Do I regret it? No, because I love both of those. I think they both turned out so good, and it was just a great way to be able to end this sketchbook. All right. So there you have it. There is my finished sketchbook. I hope you guys enjoyed the sketches in here. I'm still... Oh, Michelangelo, you're so cool. And I mean, Mars Attacks, that turned out so good. Like, Raphael. Yeah, I think I'm starting to fall in love with actually sharing these sketchbooks with you, because, I don't know, you finish a sketchbook and then it goes on the shelf, and yes, I look back on it periodically, but I'm not looking through like every single page. And these kind of force me to reflect back on what I was drawing and learning from yourself, because, you know, don't be afraid to fail. First attempt in learning, and that's what your sketchbook should be about. I don't feel like it should be full of pages, like pages upon pages of everything that you love. You got to figure it out. You got to make bad art. Yeah. Sketchbook. And I have another sketchbook tour that'll be coming out here soon as I finish this. I'm only a few pages left. I do promise I'll start posting on a more consistent basis. I know I keep saying that, but life with kids, it happens. Thank you so much for those that continue to follow me. If you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing to see more art content. And at the very least, I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day. I will see you again soon. Thanks so much.